Today was a veritable potpourri, a pastiche, a myriad, a mosaic of all kinds of stuff that knows no actual category to put it into, which is the way I like it. And it was one of those things which I want to just start off right off the bat by just saying a kudos to Tucker Carlson talking with Kurt Weldon about 9/11. You know, maybe, just maybe, I would hope there would be a chance to re-embrace, address, rediscover, if you will, what I think is our natural fascination with 9/11. It's been lost for the longest time, and it's kind of gone nowhere. But I think, and I hope this is true, there is a kind of a reappraisal, if you will, a kind of a look at how Trump is allowing us to talk about new things. I noticed that there's been a lot less seeming filtering and censorship. You know, it was interesting. I was talking the other day about the irony of AM radio. AM radio doesn't have algorithms. It doesn't have AI going through and docking you and shelving you. It doesn't. You just have some basic rules. Now, whether the subject matter is interesting or not, that's, beside the point. But there is, in some respects, interestingly enough, more freedom. I know that sounds crazy to some people, and they think there's no way. There's more freedom. There's actually more freedom than here, because we always have to worry about, well, you can't say this, you can't say that. You could cuss up a storm, but when it comes to certain subject matter, but I'm seeing, perhaps maybe I'm wrong, but I'm seeing a release of that strict kind of the prohibitions against you being able to say certain things. So I hope it's true. I hope beyond everything that it's true. I really do. I hope that we're able to see this, because there's no way that we or anybody as a society can possibly prosper if we're not allowed to say what we want, when we want, for whatever reasons. So my friends, let's get ready. We have a lot to talk about. Make sure you're subscribed to Lionel Nation. But first, this. Are you drowning in debt, struggling with credit cards or medical bills or personal loans? Well, you're not alone. There's help, real help available right now. National Debt Relief is one of the top-rated debt relief companies in America, helping thousands of individuals like you break free from overwhelming financial burdens. For anyone owing over $10,000, National Debt Relief may be able to reduce that debt by up to half or even more. No bankruptcy, no new loans, just a smarter, faster way to financial freedom. Now, here's how it works. Step 1, you submit the form at No Debt with Lionel. Just go there right now. Step 2, a representative will call within minutes to discuss personalized options. In step 3, they'll create an affordable plan tailored to your individual budget and timeline. Many clients become debt-free in as little as 24 to 48 months, paying less than they owe and avoiding years of stress and interest. And the consultation is completely free with no obligation. So what are you waiting for? Why keep dodging calls and watching interest stack up? So go right now to NoDebtWithLionel.com. That's NoDebtWithLionel.com. This could be the turning point, the step toward peace of mind, control, and a fresh start. NoDebtWithLionel.com. Go now. About a couple of things here. First and foremost, in no particular order, there's been kind of like a degree of torpor, a kind of this weird, despite those of you who are the ultra-crepidarians, dare I say, sometimes the sciolists, sometimes, dare I say, the zetetic. But notwithstanding all of that, you are here, and I'm going to go through a few things that I noticed today, which are fascinating for me, which I think are just great. Let me tell you why, in no particular order. First, let me see. Yes. First, did you see this?
Highest high. and it is surrender.
This is called complete, total, the word is horseshit. This is Katy Perry. And did you notice what people were suggesting as to satanic references and emblems and the like that were on the various badges and escutcheons of the folks who were involved in this? Did you happen to see this? Well, here she is. She was in space for 10 minutes. Well, it's not even space. It's under the Kármán ring. Okay, it's technically, theoretically, but it was so stupid, and they don't even really get it. They don't understand.
It's the highest high, and it is surrender.
Surrender
to the unknown, trust.
What are you talking about?
And this whole journey is not just about going to space.
What is it?
It's the training. It's the team. It's the whole thing.
Training.
I couldn't recommend this experience more. This is like up there with all the, different tools that I've learned in my life from it.
Have you ever heard? Do you understand? She was sitting in a chair in a seat. She went up. He didn't do anything. She sat there and said, "Okay," kind of went up and then came back down again. I mean, that's nice, but what is she talking about?
Meditation to the Hoffman process. This is up.
The Hoffman process, ladies and gentlemen. The Hoffman process.
There, because what you're doing is you're like really finding the love for yourself, because you got to trust in yourself on this journey, and then you're feeling the love when you come down, for sure, and you're feeling that strength. So I feel really connected to that strong divine feminine right now.
By the way, you're such a badass. I love that the month of April, you're like, I'm going to space and I'm launching my tour.
This is where we are. She's a badass. She's a fraud and a phony and a simpleton. By the way, the Hoffman process, from what I understand, it's a week-long residential and personal growth treatment that participants identify negative behaviors, moods, and ways of thinking that developed unconsciously. I don't even know if that's it. I don't know what she's talking about. But she basically is a dingbat. Let me also tell you something. And I'm only going to tell you this. Go deep and look into the relationship between Jeff Bezos, Lauren Sanchez, Kim Kardashian, and who else is there that there was? Maybe not Katy Perry. It's another one too. Just go look. That's all. Are you digging? Are you digging what I'm saying? Elon is going. He wants to basically settle on Mars. He wants to explore. He wants to go where no man has gone. And this Chidrula, it's a different story. Pilgrim says, I have your Hoffman process over here. Thank you so much. Funny, it goes without saying. Goes without saying. Thank you so much. So here's a great one too. Did you hear when the president had the head of the president of El Salvador, and Caitlin Collins, that one who always looks like she's frowning. She's got the funja face all the time. Always got the funja. She got the funja. If I say the funja, she's a fabissima, always mouth turn. She just looks miserable. Or as they say in West Tampa, pesado, like bitter. Like she's eating a sour orange, bitter. Any event. She was talking with, they were in the White House talking about this. And dig this. This is hard to hear, but I'll do the translation, I think.
The man who your administration says was mistakenly deported.
The man that your administration mistakenly deported. Now check out the fella on the left. This is the El Salvadorian president. He's laughing already. He is laughing like you can't believe. Let me see. Here we go. Yes, this is Nayib Bukele, right? He's sitting there, and some people call him a dictator. I think he's absolutely hysterically funny. Now check out. He looks almost. He's got that Andrew Tate kind of attitude without being a degenerate predator. But anyway, watch this.
The man who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador.
Well, let me ask.
The man who was mistakenly deported. Anyway, he turns it over to Pam Bondi.
Would you answer that question?
Sure, President. First and foremost.
Sure, President. I like Pam. Pam, would you do that? Sure, President. I'll do it, President.
First and foremost, he was illegally in our country. He had been illegally in our country. And in 2019, two courts, an immigration court and an appellate immigration court, ruled that he was a member of MS-13 and he was illegally in our country. Right now, it was additional paperwork had needed to be done. That's up to El Salvador if they want to return him. That's not up to us. The Supreme Court ruled.
That's right. The Supreme Court says you've got to bring him back. And El Salvador says, wait a minute, we have to do what? We have to bring him back? No, we don't have to do anything. You can't order us to do this. Think about this. The hubristic notion of this. We're telling another country, you've got to return. What? No.
President, that if, as El Salvador wants to return him, this is international matters, foreign affairs. If they wanted to return him, we would facilitate it, meaning provide a plane. So will you return him?
And you are doing it.
Would you? Caitlin wants him back for some reason. What do you want this dirtbag back for?
Great job.
Thank you.
Stephen Miller, wait a minute. Can you just also respond to that question? Because, it's asked by CNN, and they always ask it with a slant because they're
Look at Susie Wiles standing there. She's like,
totally slanted because they don't know what's happening. That's why nobody's watching them.
Are you catching this? Is this president beautiful?
Stephen Miller, wait a minute. Can you just also respond to that question? Because, it's asked by CNN, and they always ask it with a slant because they're totally slanted because they don't know what's happening. That's why nobody's watching them. But would you answer that question also?
Yes, gladly. So, as Pam mentioned, there's an illegal alien.
Now watch Stephen Miller. This guy goes in for the kill. He's the hatchet man. He's the Luca Brasi. Watch.
From El Salvador. So, with respect to you, he's a citizen of El Salvador. So, it's very arrogant even for American media to suggest that we would even tell El Salvador how to handle their own citizens as a starting point. As two immigration courts found that he was a member of MS-13.
Move that
When
camera.
President Trump declared MS-13 to be a foreign terrorist organization, that meant that he was no longer eligible under federal law, which I'm sure you know, you're very familiar with the INA, that he was no longer eligible for any form of immigration relief in the United States. So he had a deportation order that was valid, which meant that under our law, he's not even allowed to be present in the United States and had to be returned because of the foreign terrorist designation. This issue was then, by a district court judge, completely inverted, and a district court judge tried to tell the administration that they had to kidnap a citizen of El Salvador and fly him back here. That issue was raised to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said the district court order was unlawful, and its main components were reversed 9-0 unanimously, stating clearly that neither Secretary of State nor the President could be compelled by anybody to forcibly retrieve a citizen of El Salvador from El Salvador, who again is a member of MS-13, which, as I'm sure you understand, rapes little girls, murders women, murders children, is engaged in the most barbaric activities in the world, and I can promise you if he was your neighbor, you would move right away.
So you don't plan
But
to
the
ask for
Supreme
any
Court
help
is
to get
asking
it back?
to.
And
that-
what was the ruling in the Supreme
Listen to
Court?
that.
Was it 9-0?
Yes, it was a 9-0
In our favor.
in our favor against the district court ruling, saying that no district court has the power to compel the foreign policy function of the United States.
Yep.
As Pam said, the ruling solely stated that if this individual, at El Salvador's sole discretion, was sent back to our country, that we could deport him a second time.
Well,
No version of this legally ends up with him ever living here because he is a citizen of El Salvador.
Yep.
That is the president of El Salvador. Your questions about it, per the court, can only be directed to him.
I asked
¿Usted lo
President
liberaría,
Bukele, what is
Presidente
your- can President Bukele weigh in on this? Do you plan to return him?
Well, I suppose you're going to suggest that I smuggle terrorists into the United States, right?
It's always
How
there.
can I smuggle? How can I return him to the United States? Did I smuggle him into the United States? Or what do I do? Of course, I'm not going to do it. It's like, the question is preposterous. How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States?
The question is preposterous. How could I smuggle? Because you can't say S with a consonant. In any event, I love it.
I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
You can release him inside of Salvador.
Yeah, but I'm not releasing I mean, we're not very fond of releasing terrorists into our country. I mean, we just turned the murder capital of the world into the safest country of the Western Hemisphere, and you want us to go back into the releasing criminals so we can go back to being the murder capital of the world? And that's not going to happen.
Good.
Well, they'd love to have a criminal,
Yeah.
released.
I mean, there's a fascination.
They love it. But
Yeah.
they're sick. These are sick people. Mark, do you have something to say about
Yeah, I mean, Stephen outlined it. I don't understand what the confusion is. This individual is a citizen of El Salvador. He was illegally in the United States and was returned to his country. That's where you deport people, back to their country of origin, except for Venezuela that wasn't refusing to take people back, or places like that. I can tell you this, Mr. President. No, the foreign policy of the United States is conducted by the President of the United States, not by a court. And no court in the United States has a right to conduct the foreign policy of the United States. It's that simple. End of story.
Isn't that beautiful? This Caitlin, that she doesn't understand. She thinks somehow, I guess maybe, of all the leftist nonsense that you can possibly become associated with, whether it's climate change or climate hoaxes or trans or whatever, why would you affix yourself and append yourself and attach yourself to this issue of wanting to return violent criminals back to this country? This is why you don't understand. This is why they don't get it. It is beyond anything. Now, there was another story. These people are sick. This weekend, or over the other day, Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, had this lunatic break in, try to set, in fact, did some tremendous damage to the governor's residence in Harrisburg. Did you get a load of this lunatic? Did you see this?
I don't know the person's specific motive yet.
Get a load of this guy. What is he? Look at that. On the left, I'm talking about, obviously. What the hell is this? Look at the damage they did. Look what this son of a bitch did. Listen.
But we do know a few truths. First,
look at this.
This type of violence is not okay.
This is serious stuff. I thought it was a mild fire. This could have brought the whole thing down.
This kind of violence is becoming far too common in our society.
Well, you're a Dem, and you should tell your people this is your thing, not ours. You don't see this. You don't see that the people doing the assassination attempts against President Trump, the Antifa, they're your people. You got that? You got that right, Shapiro? Your people, not ours. Yours. So don't lay this at me. You should be talking to your governor. You are the governor. I mean, to New Jersey and others. Anyway.
And I don't give a damn if it's coming from one particular side or the other.
And the reason why you don't is because it's from your side. If it was somebody from the right, you'd be all over that. You would tell us repeatedly that it came from the right, that it's the Trumpian this, and it's the violent in this. But because it's one of yours, well, it's mum's the word. You got that?
Directed at one particular party or another, or one particular person or another. It is not okay.
Well, thank you for that. Do me a favor. I don't know about you, but I knew it wasn't okay. This is your message. This is not okay. This is it. I'd be a little bit more forceful.
And it has to stop.
Thank you so much. This is so weak. Look at this. I don't know what this book was here, but book burning from the Fahrenheit 451. It's like it's Orwellian. This has to stop. It's wrong. This is your speech.
We have to be better than this.
We have to be better. We didn't do anything. He did this. What do you mean we? Don't throw me into it. And it's your people. You got there, Josh? It's your people.
We have a responsibility to all be better.
What the hell does this mean? What is this? It sounds like a high school coach after they lost their game. You know what I mean? What is this? This is ridiculous. He's a sick bastard, and that's what we're talking about. And that's where we are. Don't you love this? We've got to be better. What are you talking about? We didn't do anything. You did this. Now here's one for you. You love this? In Thailand, they have this procedure where when you get to be a certain age, you draw a card. And if you draw, I think, a red card, you got to serve for 2 years. If you draw the black card, you're exempt. Don't hold me to it, but I think is it. Where do you get a hold of this guy? Pilgrim says, Pilgrim's got something to say. He says, burn a Tesla, okay, in your house is a no. Understood? Very good. You know what? You got one there, PP or PM, or PP as I call you. Now get a hold of this man, boy, or whatever these, you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? These time, you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? Get a load of this. You're gonna love this one. Here he comes. Now this is a guy. He's gonna pull his card to see whether he has mandatory military service. Now get a load of this. Would you want him, before he pulls a card or not, would you want him to be defending your country? Oh, look at this. Oh yeah. Maybe under the Biden administration, he'd be in charge of the Rangers. Look at this. He just pulled his card out. Now watch. Look at this. Yeah. He gets the black card. Watch. Wait till he gets the news. Look at this. Happy not to serve. That's the kind, you know what? That's the kind of recruit we want. Look at this. Happy not to serve. Get the hell up. Get out of here, you little. It's in this guy's having a good time. They think it's great. Place isn't exactly packed. Look at the green chair. What is this? Okay. All righty. He's with the Biden administration. He probably would be in charge of, he probably knows a guy who stole the dress. This is demented. Now, how many of you folks, you hear me? How many of you have had to, let me ask you something. Do you have like a CVS or a Walgreens or something where if you want to buy hand soap or shampoo, you go and they're locked up? How many of you, have you ever seen this one? Have you ever been to one of these where they're locked up? And you wonder why? It used to be Tide Pods, and then they locked that up, and then they locked this up, and they had baby formula. This is ephedrine, or have you seen this? Have you? Yep. Look at this. Shelby knows. She said, "Yep, that's it." You got this one? Well, here's the one I've got for you. This is at a Walmart, and check out the commentary. The Walmart is terrific, but this is a woman in her own particular patois showing you how they're locking up the meat.
Baby, this one you know is bad. When they put miniature gates so you don't steal, baby, they meats.
Miniature gates. She calls it miniature gates. And I said, baby, you know it's bad. When they put that miniature on the right.
Baby, this one you know is bad. When they put miniature gates so you don't steal, baby, they meats. Oh, girl, this got to be bad, Lord Jesus. Help our people, Lord.
Oh, Lord.
This the.
I know it be like that sometimes. Oh, Lord Jesus. Oh, Jesus Almighty. Praise God. Oh, little girl, they put it out on the meat. Can't put the gates on the meat. Praise God. What has happened to us, everybody? That time they put us on the right. Sometimes that motherfucker put it on the right. We can't do it on the right. Put us on the side. There's anything wrong with what you're doing. Lordy, Miss Claudia, I swear to God, sometimes it be like that. Praise be to God, oh little girl, Jesus. That motherfucker up on the crazy. Homeborn got back to mama crib. 99 roll in the hole. Nothing but a pita bed. Everything the pita bed. Bed it up. Bed it up. Sometimes it be like that. Shit. All right. That's right, baby. That's right. Oh, you're getting real close to blaspheming. Are you kidding me? There's always one. I hope you're kidding. Those are the people who give religion a bad name. A bad name. Now, there was this one. What about this one? This is one. Little girl. Little girl, I know that, baby, right. I know that's right. Because sometimes it be like that. By the way, it's not Ebonics. That is AAV, African American Vernacular English, AAVE, not Ebonics. That's a different story. That's a different story. Now, here's one for you. This is still one of my favorites. And the reason why, ladies and gentlemen, is because, well, it's the height, or as they say, the height of audacity. This is the one that will kill you. And I don't know where it came up. I don't know where it came from today, but I want to just show this to you because this one, well, it speaks for itself.
Body isn't the problem. The system is. Airlines are making.
My body is not the problem. The system is. My body, her size, her girth, her physical presence, her whatever you want to call it, is not the problem. It's the system. And you better. I gotta get rid of that. There we go. I don't blaspheme. No, right. Anyway, watch this. This one will take you. Remember, it's not her fault. It's the system.
My body isn't the problem. The system is.
There she is waving. Hi. Can you imagine her taking a trip to, like, I don't know, Australia? If she has to get up and go to the John. First of all, can she even fit in there? I'm only talking specs. I'm not being mean. I'm not fat shaming. I'm just asking a question. If some basketball players came in, if Manute Bol came in, was he 7'6"? He might have the same problem. I might ask the same questions. This is not fat shaming. This is not being mean.
Airlines are making it difficult for plus size people to travel.
She's plus size. Did you know that? That's my favorite. She's plus size. She's sized plus.
By designing seats that are too small for even the average human.
Have you ever seen a seat that's too small? I mean, I've been in some. I'm not exactly Lou Alcindor, ladies and gentlemen, but I have been seeing some where it was too small. Most people do, I mean, still, they could be a little bit bigger, but no, I don't think they had you in mind.
My worst experience on a flight was this one time when I was.
Look at this. Can you imagine that? This, seriously.
Flying standby.
Who's filming her?
And I got stuck in the bulkhead row.
She got stuck in the bulkhead row. Oh my God.
Where the armrest couldn't be moved.
The armrest couldn't be moved. Oh dear. Imagine that. No, seriously, that would be painful.
The flight was full, so I had no choice but to stay in the seat.
I had no choice but to stay in the seat. I had no choice.
I endured excruciating pain for hours.
Hours. That would be painful, I admit.
Wedged between the armrests, which left bruises on my body.
Wedged. See, she's even turning sideways to get through, and even that's not helping in this case.
I was on the verge of tears by the end.
I was on the verge of tears. I wasn't lacrimating, but I was on the verge.
So much pain that I almost vowed to never fly again.
I almost vowed never to fly again. Please, let's join that vow. Don't fly again. Not for us, but if you had to go through that, I can certainly understand why you would say it's not worth it.
The physical pain lasted for days.
I don't know what kind of pain she had, but it's like lasted for days. Having an armrest. I'm not in any way questioning the veracity of what she's saying. Are you? Do you question?
But the emotional toll of being treated like I didn't belong.
Why was she treated like she didn't belong? It's like maybe she didn't fit in, which is both a pun and an actual correct explication of the reality that we're looking at.
Was even harder to recover from. Airlines aren't doing anything at all to make it easier for plus size people to travel.
What are we supposed to do? I suggest the bench. I told you this in the past. A bench, no seats, but in the back of the plane, a bench, like where you can sit and you can put one or two and you can spread out and do whatever you want. I'm serious. Remove, Now, I think you should also, in many respects, listen, if I'm paying money for extra, have you ever had this where you take a suitcase and you got to pay extra because it's heavier? Why shouldn't they be? That's more fuel, taking up space. I'm sorry. Just like if you were 7'6", nothing personal.
When you're forced to buy 2 seats or squeeze into a space that wasn't designed for your body, it's not just inconvenient.
It wasn't designed for your body. That's true.
It's dehumanizing.
It wasn't, you're right about that. It wasn't designed for your body. What do you feel when you see that, ladies and germs? What do you feel like that? Now, this is the one I wanted to show you. And this is the best one. They're still talking about this. Oh my God. Dave Smith, the comedian and Middle East expert, was on with Douglas Murray. He said, who's Douglas Murray? I talked about this today. He talks like this and he's terribly so. Douglas Murray is a conservative type and is so full of it at so many levels, I can't even begin to tell you. But this was the moment when he was on with Dave Smith, the comedian, or the very smart man, and our friend Joe Rogan. Watch this. This is worth, ladies and gentlemen, the price of admission. And it may be hard to make out what he's saying.
You just throw a lot of shit out there and then say, I'm not interested in the alternative views on this. And particularly when it's a counter-narrative that is wildly off.
Now, he is so that you know this, he is the conservative type, the conservative, so to speak, bastion, who has been enlisted to basically say whatever Israel does regarding in Gaza, whatever it does with the people, it's okay. That's the way it is. It's war. You asked for it. It's Hamas. Don't come at me. That's the way it is. Dave Smith is the opposite. He, I believe, is Jewish, whatever that means. And he has joined a significant faction of those individuals, both right and left and Jewish and up, who are pleading the case for Palestinians and what many consider to be anti-Israel. See, that's the one thing. When I wanted the war to end in Vietnam, I wasn't anti-American or pro-Vietnam. I wanted the war to end. So anyway, watch this fascinating man.
And when you get people, look, I just feel we should get it out straight away. I feel you've opened the door.
Now he's giving Joe Rogan shite. He's giving Joe shite for daring to open the door because, according to Mr. Murray, Joe did not offer enough of the counter narrative.
To quite a lot of people who've now got a big platform, who have been throwing out counter-historical stuff of a very dangerous kind.
Because basically, and that means information that he feels is counter the argument advanced by Israel, advanced by certain conservative troop. I don't want to bring up the word Zionist. That's for other people to use. But he's on Joe's show, giving Joe shit. And here's the best part. He thinks that he scored one for the team and that he helped elevate the cause.
You mean Daryl? Are you talking about Daryl?
Daryl, who's the other one?
I don't think Daryl has.
Derek.
I don't think there's anything dangerous about
what's the other
what
guy? Derek. What's his name? Cooper? Is it? Which one is it?
No, that's Daryl.
Daryl Cooper. Who's the other one? There was one I just checked on the way here. Daryl Cooper, and then Daryl Cooper, Ian Carroll. Look, these
Ian Carroll. Okay, doesn't exactly have pretty strong opinion. He has a pretty strong opinion in favor of, if you will, the Palestinian cause, or not pro-Hamas per se. But anyway, however you find yourself comfortable, whatever. But just watch the arrogance. And he's the one sent in to be the counter on Joe Rogan's show with Dave Smith.
Guys are not historians. They're not knowledgeable about it.
They're not historians and they're not knowledgeable. Who are you? Who has to be? I promise you, if you said the right thing, your view would be welcomed even though you're not a historian.
No one's calling Ian Carroll. a
No, but
historian,
then why
even-
listen to their views on Churchill?
Daryl is
Well, why
incredibly
listen-
knowledgeable.
He's not.
It's just
He's not.
Yeah,
he's
he
not.
is.
He's
Why do you say
wildly. Several reasons. One is when he was offered to debate the current greatest living by
view him as the chief villain is my hyperbolic, provocative statement. But
What's
Douglas,
the point of that?
well, okay, but Pat Buchanan wrote an entire book on this. Is he not allowed? Is he not an expert? Is he not allowed to be
he's
interviewed?
certainly not an expert. He can be interviewed. I've watched Pat Buchanan debate. I watched Pat Buchanan debate against Churchill historians, and he was absolutely leveled because he doesn't know what he's talking about.
When did Pat Buchanan debate and get leveled?
About 20 years ago.
I'm just
He
curious. I
debated
haven't seen
against
this.
Andrew Roberts and several other historians at Intelligence Squared in London. I was there. He didn't know what he was talking about. He had a contrary view. Stimulating to hear. But if you only get the contrary view, which is, isn't it fun if we all pretend Churchill was the bad guy of the 20th century, at some point you're going to lead people down a path where they think that's the view. And that's horse shit of the most profound kind.
I don't think that's what he's trying to do.
I think that's exactly what we're doing. And the problem is that because your own platform has come about because you're a very successful comedian and much more.
You're a very successful comedian. You're not an Etonite or whatever as I am. You're not Oxford. You're not to the manner born intellectually. You're just a comedian, Joseph. You're just a comedian. You're a laugh man. You're there for the giggles. That's all you are.
And you do ask questions, and you are interested.
You're very interested, but you're so you suffer such a paucity, a dearth, such a de minimis range of knowledge. You're not a trained historian, Joseph. You and your kickboxing and your tattoos and your awahaka, whatever your stuff is that you lick the back ends of a frog or whatever it is you walk around waxing, thereby traipsing hypnotic with your drugs and your like. It's a nice attempt, but you're just a comedian.
But there are a lot of people who have come along, partly I think because they've come on this show, who have come along and they've decided, I can play this double game. Mm-hmm. On the one hand, I'm going to push really edgy and frankly sometimes horrific opinions. And then if you say that's wrong, they say, I'm a...
No, well, see, I cut that up. You see, ladies and gentlemen, you see what you have here is he's the voice, and he's probably, so I don't know, don't hold me to this, folks, but I'll bet you he's paid handsomely for his attempt to go out there and spread the word. Spread the word. Because you're not an expert. You don't have your... Years ago, there was a fellow named Roger Ailes. Roger Ailes was the head, the paterfamilias, if you will, of those at the Fox News. And they asked Roger Ailes, Roger, that's his name, they said, Roger, do you believe that journalists should be licensed? And he says, you only need a license to cut hair. You see? And this is what it was. And what I wish Mr. Rogan would have done is to lean in. Perhaps Mr. Rogan might have been perhaps a bit, I don't know what the word is. I don't know. Taken aback, intimidated by this master of erudition, Mr. Murray, perhaps maybe that's it. Or, I don't know. Maybe Joe feels like this is beyond my working grade, my pay grade. In any event, I wish he would have leaned in and said, let me tell you something, you little shit, you twit, you titmouse. You're my guest, and this is my guest. And we will not countenance this type of rude behavior. Do I make myself clear? Doug. Do you see that? Doug, be very careful. You see that? Very, very careful. Oh, look at this. Vakenhart says, the blacks in USA speak like the English when they accentuate the T sound in words. Be careful. You might be close to being blasphemous. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, what a wonderful day. What a wonderful day this is. So I wanted to share that with you. I hope you're doing fine. That's all. That's all. That's all you need. I don't want to ruffle your feathers. You've been very, very, dare I say, quiet lately. And I don't want to do anything to ruffle your feathers, to stir the pot, as it were. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Don't you understand what I'm saying? I don't want to do that. Because I understand it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say to you, dear friends, that I'm going to back it out of here. I'm going to thank you so much. And to our benefactor today, Mr. Pilgrim Media, our sole benefactor, thank you so much for your beneficence, for your philanthropy, your grandiloquence, and your breviloquence in many respects as well. Make sure you follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. She had a wonderful 5 at 5 that it was beautiful. Don't forget to follow our other channel at Lionel Legal. And make sure you're part of this and subscribe to Lionel Nation. That's all, my friends. Anyway, I don't want to get everybody to take it easy. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you tomorrow. Don't ever change it. Till then, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Suya. Ta-ta.